Welcome to CyberUK TV. I'm John Ellison, National Resilience Director here at the National Cybersecurity Centre, and I'm delighted to be joined by Freya from Accenture and Dan from Cloudflare. Welcome.
Thank you, Jonathan.
If I start things off by saying welcome to CyberUK, have you enjoyed it? Have you had a good time?
It's been a really valuable event for us. We've had some excellent conversations with individuals across public sector and the private sector as well. And all for obviously promoting the work that we're doing with the NCSC around PDNS with our partners Accenture.
And Freya, what about you?
Yeah, I'd echo what Dan has just said. This is my fourth CyberUK. Fourth
wow.
CyberUK, and I must say it gets bigger and better every year.
You've done more CyberUKs than I have. That's impressive.
Okay. Yeah, it's absolutely fantastic. Delighted to be here as a sponsor this year as well, and the quality of talks and networking has been phenomenal.
Brilliant. Bigger and better every year. That sets the tone for the next year's CyberUK. Perhaps you can tell us a little bit, Freya, about Accenture and how you're working in partnership with NCSC.
Absolutely. So Accenture is a global consulting firm, and we have a very significant cyber security business as part of the organisation. Here in the UK, we've got about 500 security consultants, and we actually do a number of projects with the NCSC, but one that I'm delighted to be talking to you about today is our partnership with Cloudflare and the rollout of the PDNS service, which we'll be taking on from September. I'm sure we'll touch upon that further, but aside from that, we're really proud to be involved in the Cyber First programme and Cyber Girls. So yes, delighted to be here and chatting more about it later.
Fantastic, and definitely want to come back to PDNS in a minute. Dan, same question to you. Cloudflare. Tell us a bit about Cloudflare and again how you're working with us at NCSC.
So just a little bit on Cloudflare's mission and what we do to help clients. So Cloudflare's mission is to help build a better internet, and we do that by protecting employees, protecting entire networks, and making sure applications are safe and secure. And just a little bit more context on that, we have data centers in over 310 cities in 100 countries spanning the globe. And with that scale comes a ability to run a number of organizations on our network. About 4.5 to 5 million organizations use our services, which equals about 20% of global internet traffic. And our customers get value from all that threat intelligence, which then feeds into every one of our services.
So Freya, we talked about PDNS a little bit already, so let's come on to that properly. What is PDNS? Why is it important?
Brilliant. So PDNS is one of the core components of the NCSC's Active Cyber Defence Programme. It essentially is a service that will block malware operations and harmful content and make sure individuals can't reach those sites. We will be using the Cloudflare tech stack, which we'll come on to in a second, and providing the services from Accenture security team to actually do the delivery on the ground. We are absolutely delighted, and the team are super excited to get started. And we have started some of the transition work, but we're really looking to bring in a lot of the insights that we can bring from a wider global company perspective and the intelligence that we can share and really underpin the service. So as well as doing the core delivery, the data that we can share with NCSC and partners is really rich and threat intelligence led.
Thank you, Freya. And Dan, what benefits do you think it brings working with the NCSC on this?
Yeah, I mean PDNS in itself is the cornerstone of security controls for the whole of the public sector. And that in itself is a true beacon of innovation, I think, for lots of other government organisations around the world. And I think some of the benefits that would bring is looking to the future to kind of maintain that innovative approach that the NCSC have taken to building PDNS. If you look at the adoption that the service has had, with 1,400 organisations and 6 million people protected, the adoption's there, the success is clear. It's about now building out and how can we improve and continue to innovate.
The theme for CyberUK this year was future threat, future tech, future ready, and PDNS certainly helps us be ready for some of the threats that we face and how do we improve resilience of the nation at scale. But on that future tech bit, right, you guys working for companies, Accenture, Cloudflare, you have some insights into that. So what do you feel the kind of future tech space when it comes to cybersecurity is? What should we be thinking about? What should we be looking at? Go to Freya. How about I go to you first?
I think one of the key themes and the key messages that I've taken when we're looking at future threats and being future ready is it'd be amiss not to mention AI. It is certainly the buzzword of the year and certainly the buzzword of CyberUK this year, which I think is completely appropriate. And I think AI presents a whole new landscape that we haven't seen before. And it's interesting when we talk about PDNS and actually the impact that AI will have. AI has the opportunity and the capability to do immense good, both from a cyber and societal perspective, actually. But we need to be cognizant, being at CyberUK, of the harm that it can also do. And one of the things that we've been tracking quite carefully is how easily accessible AI is going to make the tooling available to everyone, whether they be a cyber specialist or a layperson. We have recently seen, for example, in some of the research that we've done, some LLM models that you can now hire for $200 a month. Fraud GTP and pen test GTP and GPT, need to get the acronym right there, it's been a long day, sorry. And I think we need to be really cognizant of what that tooling will do, especially in the hands of perhaps individuals and nation states that don't have the same regulatory framework that we're looking to adopt for AI. So I think it would be amiss for me not to mention what the impact of AI is going to be. But that again gives us a great opportunity to again emphasise the partnership model that has been talked about here, whether that be academia, industry, government, to all come together and really bring the best in terms of innovation, because we are going to have to innovate hard to defeat some of the threat actors out there, especially with the threats that AI will bring.
I think the point about collaboration is coming out really strongly across CyberUK, as it does every year, but so fundamental to cybersecurity. And what about you, Dan? Same question to you. Future tech, crystal ball, what does it mean for cybersecurity?
So just explain a bit about how will Cloudflare look to the future and the various teams that we have, because we have effectively 3 teams. One team looks 2 to 3 quarters in the future, and they'll be talking to existing customers on how they can iterate and improve our current services. We also have an ETI team, which is Emerging Technologies and Incubation, which really have a 3 to 5 year purview on what might be coming in the next 3 to 5 years. And then there's one other team who have a much broader horizon, maybe about 10 to 20 years, that really look at the kind of the full horizon to see what might be coming. And I think if we're looking at technology trends, there's a few that are particularly clear to us. One of which is around the convergence of networking and security. The other one, of course, AI, edge computing, but also quantum technologies as well, which I think has been mentioned throughout the event over the past few days. Just looking kind of from that first point, the convergence of networking and security, this is more of a near-term view where we have customers that we're talking to are still managing their security in a very much a castle and moat infrastructure, where they have security controls built up around on-premise data centers and head offices. And we talk to them about a different approach where we're actually enabling those same type of security controls, but for remote users and also for applications wherever they reside. And that's Zero Trust Framework, Secure Access Service Edge. We're having conversations right now, but our view is probably the next 5 to 7 years, that will be commonplace, and it will be an architecture which most will adopt. If we're looking slightly further ahead into kind of more AI and the approach that's going to take, and quite clearly it could have massive advantages for industry. What's also important is to make sure that the capabilities to defend against the potential threats are kept up at pace. And at Cloudflare, we've been looking at both angles. So we have the infrastructure available to be able to run these large language models and generative AI programs, while at the same time recently announcing Firewall for AI and other types of innovations to be able to keep in check the advancement of what would be a hugely beneficial service, I think, for the greater industry. And then if we're looking kind of more on the kind of longer term towards quantum, now it's interesting because this is effectively, a technology which may come to fruition in the next 15 to 40 years. But what that does mean, potentially, there could be an expiry date on the cryptography that keeps everyone safe on the internet. So we believe in the next 15 to 40 years, there could be a sufficiently powerful quantum computer that could effectively decrypt everything, all data on the internet. Now, we've been working on this for quite some time. We've been looking at it for a number of years. And that's why we announced in the 2003 Democracy Summit that we would, in keeping with our mission of helping build a better internet, provide free of charge any type of post-quantum technology that we develop. Moreover, anyone that isn't a Cloudflare customer, we would build up a vendor-neutral roadmap in order to ensure that no one's at risk for what might be happening in the next 15 to 40 years.
Big predictions for the
Yes,
future.
absolutely.
We'll have to call you back for CyberUK 2039 to
Please
test
do.
test them out. Freya, Dan, it's been fantastic of you to join us. Thanks for coming along to CyberUK. Thanks for the collaboration on PDNS, which I'm really looking forward to. And also thank you for sponsoring CyberUK. So it's fantastic.
It's been a pleasure.
It's been an absolute
Thank you.
pleasure again.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.